enter my domain, seeking arcane wisdom of the guitar, eh? Very well, but I should warn thee, these are only ordinary guitar techniques. You will have to study them ardently if you are to not make a total arse of yourself at the next band practice. Follow me, and we shall learn the first riff together.
Lads, ladies and MBs, hello. We're going to run through this first lick and I'll play it nice and slow, then I'm going to explain why it's an arcane secret of guitar and why you want to include this kind of stuff in your playing. Sorry about that wizard fella who keeps turning up, by the way. I keep telling him to sling his hook every Halloween, he keeps making an appearance. Anyway, we're thinking for this one, it's kind of like an A minor, A Dorian kind of thing going on here. Here it is nice and slow, hope you can follow this along at home. Here we go. Okay, the next bit goes. So that's kind of like that's implying the Dorian there with the major sixth in there. So the reason why this is so important is because you can hear quite clearly it's playing triplet patterns, or I like to think of it in like sextuplet grouping. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's important to practice things, you know, in groupings of 16th notes and triplets and all that. And what you want to try and do, it's nice to blend that kind of playing in with more lucid, free feel kind of stuff where you're playing across the bar. It's really refreshing to hear this kind of stuff in there. Obviously guys like Tom Quayle is just like the master of this, and you hear it going right the way across. You know, it's like this constant stream of notes, just keeping that ball rolling. And the best way to practice this is just to condense it down into small little fragments, okay? So that first thing I'm thinking there, that's just an A minor arpeggio, yeah, with its minor seventh in there. So I'm going root, and then I'm going to go minor third, fifth, minor seventh, back to the root there, ninth there, back to the minor third up here, but that's on the G string, and back down again. And I'm just counting the notes as I'm going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slide up, there's 5. Hammer on there to fret number 9, and that's your last note grouping of 6s. Okay, slow this stuff down, break it down, have fun with it. If you want this kind of stuff in more detail, hit me up. Here's the next lick. The next secret weapon then, lads, this is an interesting one. This is just a little tapping idea that I came up with, and it's unique because a lot of the time you see tapping and it's done like this. We're all very familiar with that kind of stuff where you hammer, pull off, hammer, pull off, hammer, pull off, hammer, pull off. Well, this one's cool because it's all just hammering on the notes, okay? And you know what else is cool about it? It's incorporating the same concept as the first secret, okay? That is, I'm playing strictly 16th notes, 1 E Anna, 2 E Anna, right? And I'm never really letting up with that. Now, obviously, again, it's important to know that you don't really just want this all the way through your playing. You want a nice mixture where you can lock into the grid dead steady, and you can kind of go a little bit loosen it a little bit, you know, what we like to call over the bar kind of playing. Here's what's going on with this lick, okay? So I'm starting off here, right up high on the neck, and I'm actually playing kind of like a Lydian sound here. The chord underneath is an add 9 arpeggio, but it's got that note in, which is the sharp 4 in there, you know, creating that tritone between the root and that note. which is what's giving it so much spice. It is the raised fourth in the Lydian, but it's played in the upper octave, so I guess you call it like a sharp 11, and that's what's giving it kind of like a unique sound. But literally, and again, these are just ideas to get your creative juices flowing. I'm going 2 hits in one hand, so, and then 2 hits with each finger. I'm literally just playing 19th fret on both the B string and the E string. But it's my left hand that's doing the work. This is just doing like a response to it. So like that. Okay, then I move this hand down a bit, and then I move it down again, and I move this hand down. So now instead of playing 19 and 19, I'm playing 17 and 17. What's really going to help you here with this kind of stuff is, of course, the good old the mighty fret wrap.
The mighty sun.
That'll make everything really smooth. The last bit, the keyboard kind of cuts out. What I do is I just basically follow down a really bog standard E minor pentatonic box, and this hand is just mirroring those notes there, so, which is basically essentially the next step up from each of the last note that you've played in this pentatonic box. So for example, on this one, I'm playing the 12th fret as the highest in that pentatonic box. So this hand naturally plays the 15th fret and then the 15th fret here. Last thing for this one, this is kind of like a 2-for-1 deal in terms of the secret weapons, okay? And that's because on the actual track, if you notice, there's actually a keyboard line playing. The reason why that's so good is because it sounds like what I'm playing is super intentional. So that's a great tip on the production front. If you've ever got a lead line, it sounds a bit thin, make sure you double it up with some MIDI keyboard and you'll be on to a winner there. Right then lads, secret and riff number 3. Just what in the name of Halloween is going on with this one then?
What is going on here?
Well, this is effectively a bucket head technique. He calls it finger nubbing.
2 finger nubbing, 3 finger nubs, 4 finger nubs.
So I literally for this, I'm grabbing these 2 notes. I'm grabbing D and E. Okay, up on E string there, 10th and 12th fret. With my right hand, I'm hammering on, pulling off, hammering on, pulling off, hammering on, pulling off, hammer, pull, hammer, pull, hammer, pull, hammer, pull. And you can get some really crazy kind of like chaotic, bizarre textural sounds going on with this. And that's all that's really going on. You know, it doesn't really matter what you're playing here. It's used to deliberately be jarring and kind of like hyper discordant. You can have a lot of fun with it. So that's using 2 fingers, 3 fingers, same thing again. I'm just gonna go hammer, pull with the middle, hammer, pull with the ring finger. So that's index, middle, and ring. Now, what's really gonna help you with this is one of these guys. It's a fret wrap, and that'll like kill any additional extraneous string noise. Something else that should be mentioned in the left hand, you can kind of mirror what's going on in the right hand, which is what I did towards the end of that solo. I did something along the lines of this. And there, I'm literally just mirroring both. I'm going hammer with the pinky, pull off with the pinky, whilst my pinky finger's on there. I change down to the 12th fret with my ring finger in the left hand, and then sure enough, ring finger, hammer, pull. Change to the middle finger with my left hand, middle finger, hammer, pull. You get it. Going down. If you don't know who Buckethead is, make sure you check him out. He's one of the best guitarists ever, in my opinion. Came up with loads of really crazy stuff like this. Okay, so the 4th secret then, what's going on here? This is just a combination of different kind of strumming patterns that you might want to use. So what I'm doing for the first part of this right is I'm kind of imagining I'm going 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana. I'm throwing in a triplet pattern, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Put that whole thing in triplets, let it extend it out a B. So I'm going, okay, and now that upstroke there is quite hard to play with the chord, so just take your time with that. There I'm playing like an F sharp minor 7 thing. Some things that'll make it a lot easier to do these quick strumming patterns are to use a slightly bendier than normal plectrum. Definitely something worth including in your arsenal, okay? The next thing I wanted to talk about in this little riff here is this really quick, like, kind of like funky right hand pattern. It's one of those, I can get it sometimes I can't. And I guess this is kind of like a 30-second note idea, because if that's 16ths, 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana, this is like double the speed. You see this kind of playing all the time on Instagram, really rapid, kind of like funky, muted right hand stuff, and it's really, really fun. Okay, now again, top tip for this, just select a couple of strings, okay? Guthrie Garvin talks about this all the time. He doesn't play like, he doesn't try and play that fast stuff over every single string like that. That would be really, really challenging, but you don't necessarily need to get the same effect. All you do is, I'm grabbing like the bottom 2 strings. The dega part goes over those bottom 2 strings, maybe the bottom 3 strings if you're lucky, and then the accented part goes across all of them. Let's see if we can get a clean one. It is something that requires some practice, and it's very easy to want to tense up really, really hard with that, but try and avoid that if you can. It'll make your muscle memory worse in the long term. Another top tip, I keep a standard pick position like this. So the pick is now between the thumb and the index finger as standard, right? Then I dig in a bit harder. Woo! Instead of playing like a standard C sharp minor 7 chord there, I went whoop. Gave it like a nice little augmented 5th going on there. That would be the standard. And as you can see there, where my ring finger is on 6th fret, I raised it up to the 7th fret with my pinky finger. Kept the rest of the chord the same, and it gives us kind of like a very emotive sound. Again, any questions, I'm more than happy to try and give you some feedback on them. Let me know in the comments below.
Wondrous techniques, one and all. I hope you've had a spectacular time here. See you next Halloween. And don't forget to shred that subscribe button. Oh, bollocks.